Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a good afternoon we have today. So today we from group 5 or group 711 are going to present about our project, which is the multipurpose friction map. Next slide please. Alright, so this is our team members. We have our beloved lecturer, Madam Haslinda binti Hashim, who has helped us every step of the way in conceiving of this project. And this is our group picture, which I will introduce every member shortly. So first of all, this is me, myself, Muhammad Alif bin Muhammad Zahri, as the leader of the group. And then we have Imtiaz, Nick Muhammad Aidil Imtiaz, there. And then we have Haikal Arif, there. And then we have Hazim. And we also have Amira. We also have Dino Ferrero. We also have Wafa as our secretary. And we have Sritara. Our presenters today will be me, Sritara, Wafa, and Dini. Next slide please. So, to introduce our project, I would like to preface by saying that mobility is very important, especially in primary schools today. Because as we are moving forward, we cannot dismiss the needs of marginalized groups like handicapped and disabled people, particularly those with mobility problems that need to use wheelchairs. On the offset, this problem might look solved because there are plenty of concrete ramps that are built in schools nowadays that will allow these wheelchair-using people to enter the classroom with ease. However, I would say that this is not a perfect solution yet, because these concrete ramps do not have enough friction to allow the safest possible passageway for these people who use wheelchairs. And that is where our project comes in. But before that, I'll delve into the specifics of the problem that we're facing. So first of all, mobility ramps at school nowadays are made out of concrete. This is not ideal, I say, as concrete ramps are slippery due to having less friction. And we can all vouch for this fact, I believe, because concrete has a very low friction coefficient, and thus it provides little safety, especially those without railings. The slipperiness of these ramps is ever present and worsens whenever the ramp is exposed to any kind of liquid, water, oil, you name it. They all do not help the ramp's casing in terms of friction. And this condition may prove to be a safety hazard, as it may cause an unsuspecting victim to slip and fall. That is talking about able-bodied people. And anybody can fall victim to this slipperiness. Teachers, students, and the like, which can cause mild to severe injuries. And not to mention wheelchair-bound people, in which they will face these problems, but worse. Next slide, please. So, these are the specifics of the problem. First of all, as mentioned before, these concrete ramps will become more slippery when it is raining or a liquid is spilled on them, as I've elaborated earlier. And these extra slippery conditions pose a higher risk of injury to students and teachers alike. So everyone is susceptible to this problem. Thus, a surface with friction greater than concrete must be introduced to offset this problem, to surmount this challenge that we're facing. We are proposing our project. Now I'll hand this discussion over to Wafa.
So now I'm going to move on to the proof. So basically, this proof is taken from the Malaysian news. So as you can see here, this is the news where the facilities for OKU for disability students are low due to certain causes. So basically, for the next slide, so the government have implemented such ramps, more ramps at schools to facilitate students who have disability at schools. So here we can see that the students or children from age 6 to 12-year-old who have this disability are the sum of 70,775 students. So this is proof that it is a must to increase the number of RAM and also facility for students with disability. So I'm going to move on to the CECA analysis. So basically, it is from injuries when using RAM. So this is due to the surface of the entrance of class, or which we call it as RAM, are slippery, and this may causes the wheelchairs to easily slide. And also for the next branches, we can see that there are lag friction between students' feet and also the concrete floor. And for the corrective action, we have analyzed that by making less a mat, it can increase the friction, which is known as multi-purpose friction mat. That's all from me. So I will pass to Dino.
So thank you, Wafa, for her explanation just now. So we move to the next section of the presentation, which is component analysis. So as you can see here, this is our original invention, which is RAM. And to be added on the RAM is our frictionless mat. So next slide. So there are 5 supersystem components, which is the first one, human type of floor, wing, things with wheels such as wheelchair, and water. So next slide. So the next slide explaining about interaction analysis. So this is the basic one. As you can see here, friction mat covers RAM. So the next slide. So from the basic one, we will get the whole situation, how it looks like actually. So from the basic, friction mat covers RAM. So the friction mat, on the friction mat there is thread which supply grip to the wheelchair or trolley. Thus, the friction mat will block water that can cause the RAM to be slippery. So next slide. So the next slide is about manipulative variable. So as we know, there are 2 manipulative variables, which is improving parameters and worsening parameters. So our group have decided to add one improving parameters, which is SP33, which is convenient of use because when a wheelchair is pushed through the friction mat, it will grip the wheelchair's wheels more firmly. So next one, worsening parameter. Worsening parameter. So for worsening parameter, we choose SP19, which is use of energy by moving object. That is because we need more energy to push the trolley through the friction mat. So next. So the next slide, I will be explaining about engineering contradiction. So there are 3 parts, which is if, then, and but. So for if thread is added on the multipurpose mat, then it will grip the trolley's wheels more firmly. But more energy is used to push or pull it. So we combine these 3 parts into one, which is we call as engineering contradiction. So I repeat it again. If thread is added on the multipurpose mat, then it will grip the trolley's wheels more firmly. But more energy is used to push or pull it. So next slide. So the next slide, based on the improving and worsening parameter just now, we got these 3 IP, which is IP1, segmentation, IP13, the other way around, and IP24, which is intermediary. So the next slide. So we can conclude that the best IP that we can conclude from our invention is IP24, which is intermediary, because I believe that by our invention, we can facilitate more various parties, but based on our group discussion, we focus on people with disability because our invention is easy to install and remove when not in use. So I think that's all from me. I pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Alright, so thank you Dino for the detailed explanation earlier. So now I'll be talking about the comparison and how do we improve our product as a whole. So as we can see in the previous or the original one, we have there is less friction. So now I'll give you a closer look up on our product. As you can see, in the original ramp, there's only a flat surface, and this does not provide us enough grip, hence endangering the user. So our invention has provided more friction. Yes, thank you. So our invention is to provide more friction and enhance the function of the ramp. So what did we introduce? We have introduced a ramp, also known as our friction mat. So our friction mat will look something close to this. Has these grooves on top, also known as threads, which enhances the grip or the overall friction, which then provides more safety for its users. So for example, as a substitute of a wheelchair, we'll be using a car to show the grip level of a wheel. So as you can see, once the friction mat has been placed, the car is more stable and placed more safely. Thank you. So next slide please. So how does this impact the society? So as we can see, it reduces the risk of injuries as less people will be exposed to the prone of injuries since there's more grip that has been given to us. Next, increase mobility and independence. Since our product can be used anywhere, especially such as school areas, people who are bringing in laboratory equipments who uses trolley will face lesser of a hurdle to bring in those stuff. Besides that, people who are using wheelchair, which is our main focus, will not slip back as they do last time because our mat provides more friction and more grip, hence more safety to our user. And last but as I've summarized just 2 points, we can now move on to our next slide. So Sustainable Development Goals. What is SDG exactly? SDG, or also known as Global Goals, are basically 17 interlinked objectives which acts as a shared blueprint. So out of these 17 interlinked objectives, there is one objective or SDG which best suits our product, which is SDG 3, good health and well-being. So why does this best suit our product? As you can see, ensuring healthy lives and promotes well-being for all ages. Our product can ensure that people from any group of ages, both elderly and also youngsters, or even those who are not fairly good in their physical. So for example, those who are using wheelchair will have safe passage through by using our friction mat. Next slide. So now I'll be explaining through our process and how did we come up with this idea. So as we all know, none of this will be possible without our beloved Madam Aslida. So when we were first learning about Triz and the class was being held about Madam Aslida, and then she introduced us to us about this whole topic. So after this then, we got a new idea by brainstorming, like what can we do exactly and how do we impress our fellow classmates and our lecturer, of course. After we have managed to come up with the idea, we then have to go through and recheck all of our steps to make sure that our product is the best and safest version for our target users. And after all of these explanations, going through, rechecking and everything, we then end up with our prototype, which is right in front of you. So this is our prototype from all of the angles. As you can see, it's something quite amazing, right? Yes. Yes. This is a little bit of a video.
Okay kan? Oh, dia buat balik.
So that was a very helpful video, I'm pretty sure. And I would like to conclude our session today. So thank you very much.